Chicago, 1949. A city on edge. The first body was found in January 1949, buried beneath a thick blanket of snow in Chicago's South Side. The victim, a young woman in her early 20s, lay lifeless in an alley behind a jazz club, her throat slashed with surgical precision. But what truly disturbed the investigators wasn't the gruesome nature of the murder. It was what lay on her chest. A small gold charm, shaped like a four-leaf clover, rested delicately atop her blood-soaked blouse. Detective Elliot Langley, a hardened officer with the Chicago Police Department, examined the charm with a growing sense of unease. It was meticulously cleaned, untouched by blood, as if placed there deliberately after the murder. Langley had seen plenty of violent crimes in his 10 years on the force, but something about this was different. This wasn't just a killing, this was a statement. And it wouldn't be the last. In fact, a pattern emerged from the investigation. By April 1949, 3 more women were dead, each found in different parts of the city, each murdered in the exact same way. A slit throat, no signs of sexual assault, no theft, and, most chillingly, each victim had a small gold charm resting on their bodies. The press was quick to sensationalize the story, dubbing the murderer the gold charm killer. Fear spread like wildfire. Women in Chicago stopped going out alone at night. Shops selling gold charms saw a surge in customers returning them, fearing they could become the next target. Langley and his partner, Detective Samuel Carter, worked tirelessly, following every lead, questioning every possible suspect, and trying to determine the connection between the victims. But the deeper they dug, the stranger the case became. None of the women knew each other. They had different backgrounds, different professions, and lived in different neighborhoods. The only link? Each victim owned a gold charm bracelet, and one charm was missing from each bracelet at the time of their murder. Then, it wasn't until July 1949 that Langley caught a break. A jeweler on West Madison Street, a small-time vendor named Arthur Greaves, reported something odd. 2 weeks before each murder, a man had entered his shop and purchased a single gold charm, always choosing from the exact same collection. Greaves remembered him well. He had cold, pale blue eyes and always paid in crisp new bills. When Langley asked for a name, Greaves hesitated. He never gave one, he admitted, his fingers trembling as he slid a receipt across the counter. Langley's heart pounded. The man had left an address. The address led them to a rundown boarding house on the edge of the city. The landlord, a frail old woman named Mrs. Calloway, immediately recognized the description. Mrs. Calloway. "You're talking about William Tate," she said, lowering her voice. "Quiet fellow. Keeps to himself. Works nights." "You're talking about William Tate," she said, lowering her voice. "Quiet fellow. Keeps to himself. Works nights." Langley and Carter kicked down the door to room 7. Inside they found a chilling shrine. Pinned to the walls were newspaper clippings of the murders, meticulously arranged. In the corner, a wooden box sat atop the dresser. Langley lifted the lid. Inside were 4 gold charms, 1 clover, 1 heart, 1 star, 1 horseshoe. And an empty slot waiting for the next. Langley clenched his jaw. Tate had already chosen his next victim. Tate wasn't home, but a letter on the table revealed his next move. It was an invitation, an exclusive jazz event at the Blue Orchid, a high-end club in the city. It was an invitation, an exclusive jazz event at the Blue Orchid, a high-end club in the city. Scrawled in ink were the words, "She'll be there." Langley and Carter rushed to the club that very night, blending into the smoke-filled crowd. The band played a lively tune, but Langley's eyes were locked on the room, scanning every face. Then he saw him. Tate stood near the bar, watching a young brunette in a red dress. His next victim. Langley moved fast, shoving past dancing couples and shouting Tate's name. Tate turned sharply, eyes wide with realization. He bolted for the back exit. Langley and Carter gave chase, racing through the narrow, rain-slicked alleyways. Tate, desperate, knocked over garbage cans trying to slow them down. But Langley was faster. He tackled Tate to the ground, pinning him down as Carter cuffed him. The killer thrashed, but he was done. And as the sirens approached, Langley caught a glimpse of something in Tate's clenched fist. A small gold charm, a tiny angel, the final piece of a twisted collection. In October 1949, William Tate was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree murder. His motive? His motive? A childhood obsession turned deadly compulsion. Investigators learned that his mother, a strict and severe woman, had once rewarded him with gold charms when he pleased her, and beaten him when he failed. Something inside him had snapped, driving him to collect his victims the way his mother had once collected charms. Langley attended the sentencing, watching as Tate was led away in shackles. The city of Chicago could finally breathe again. The Gold Charm Killer's reign of terror was over. But as Langley walked out into the cold autumn air, he reached into his coat pocket, pulling out the last recovered charm, a tiny golden angel, the final reminder of a case he'd never forget.